What's up, weirdos? It's Ryan Hack, ripping one-handed on Twitter. Thought I'd make a quick video. Maybe I'll make more of these. But I wanted to respond to something that I feel like it would be better just to talk about rather than tweet about. Sue Tiska actually had a response to someone who was saying how flippers have ruined the hobby, and she responded essentially saying, there's been such an influx of people into the hobby that it's actually a good thing. Having more eyes on the hobby, more people invested and involved is actually a good thing. And I think there's truth in both of those things. And so I wanted to talk about that for a second, maybe give some working definitions and kind of go from there. So first of all, I'm 43, one hand. I was born this way. Has really nothing to do with anything other than explain my Twitter handle, ripping one-handed. I have been involved in the hobby since I was a kid, since the mid 80s, really. I remember my first packs were in 1987. I was at a Madison Muskies baseball game, their minor league team. Jose Canseco played for them. And I bought a cello, one of those rack packs that you could see that wooden border of those Topps cards through it. And I'll never forget that. And I collected for a long time as a kid, through middle school, through high school. Even in my early 20s, I was collecting, and then kind of got away from it probably the late 2000s, mid to late 2000s, and then kind of came back in full force when a lot of people did, a little over a year ago probably, I think end of 2019, so a little bit before the pandemic hit, but obviously when that happened, everybody seemed to get back involved. And so I've seen a lot of different things over this time, and I would say I'm a little bit of everything that I'm about to talk about. And so what I wanted to say was kind of these definitions, because I've seen people kind of throw these terms around, and I don't know that we have a solid definition, a consistent definition that we all look at. So collectors, resellers, flippers are kind of the areas where I see that we all fit. And so people say, oh, true collector is this, true collector is that. And so when I think of a collector of anything, what that means to me is that I'm buying something with the intention of keeping it and not reselling it for profit, right? So like you can see my record player behind me. I collect records. I don't buy them to resell them. I buy especially like old jazz records. I was going to see if I could pull one out here. So how about this one? So here we go. Lou Donaldson, Blue Note, amazing. And this is just like this. Oh, I love this. Now this record is trash. Like condition, I don't know. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but like see those scratches on there? Scratched. But I buy them because I collect them. I'm not going to resell this. I will get nothing for this. I got it because I love these old jazz records. This means something to me. It's been around for 60 years. I think this was recorded in the 60s. So to imagine this record, someone bought this, 50, 60 years ago, and it's been around since, and now I have it. And I listen to it. It's all scratched up, but it plays through, and I love it. And I collect it. And so I didn't buy this with the intention of reselling it at some point and making money off of it. Now you can do that. It's fine. I have done that, like on record store day, where I'll go and I would buy a record and then I would flip it right away for a profit, and then that would help pay for some of the records that I was buying to keep. And so in that situation, I was a collector and a flipper, right? And we'll talk about flipping more, I think, at some point. I've fluctuated greatly in my thinking about flipping and how it helps or hurts. Mostly hurts. It's a little hint. But in any event, that's an example of collecting to me. That if you're collecting something, you're buying it because you love it, because it brings you joy, it makes you happy, and you're not intending to sell it. So like, watch the brakes. Cubs collector, gets Chris Bryant cards, and he keeps them, right? I've sent him a couple myself because I know that they're his PC, his personal collection. He just buys them to keep them, to collect them. Now, reselling, I would say, is what a lot of us also do. So if I buy a blaster of Select Football, I open it up, I'm hoping to hit something big. Usually I don't. But then I look at that and I say, okay, which ones do I want to keep? And which ones do I want to sell? Right? Which ones do I want to hold and maybe sell later, hoping that they go up in value? Which ones do I think won't go up in value? Maybe I think right now is the peak, so I'm going to list those or I'm going to sell those. I would say that that's reselling. I don't think that's flipping because you're taking on the risk, right? If I buy a box of cards and I open it, I'm taking on the risk of what's inside because I have no idea what's in there. And so if I happen to get some things that are valuable and I sell those, well, great. I've taken on the risk. Now I'm selling them. I'm not flipping them because I didn't buy it knowing that I'm immediately going to get this huge return on my investment. And so that's what I would say about that. Now, flipping is, obviously, if you're on Twitter, you know, flipping causes the outroar, the outrage, and I think for good reason, to be honest. It sucks. The state of retail specifically right now sucks because of flipping, especially people with bots who clear everything out. People have their own opinions of people who wait in lines and that sort of thing. I have thoughts about that too that I'll talk about sometime else. But to me, flipping is you're buying something with the intention to immediately sell it at a major profit. Right? Now, to me, if I buy a card for $30 and I list it for $50 and it sells right away, I don't have a problem with that. Technically, is it flipping? Sure, but it's not like, I think singles is a different animal. I think, again, when you're flipping boxes, whether it's hobby boxes or retail blasters and megas and cellos and all that kind of stuff. Again, you're not taking on any of the risk. You're buying a box for $20 and immediately selling it by posting a picture of it in your car for $80, right? That's flipping. You've taken something and immediately 4 or 5 times the value, boom, and there's no risk for you. You're not opening it. You're not taking on the risk of what's inside. You're just getting it, selling it. Now, could you do that with singles as well? Like I said, probably. Like if you buy a lot of cards, a lot, not like a lot, but a lot of 5 cards that you get a good deal on, and then you immediately list them and make a profit. Typically, you're not going to make 4 to 5 times like these retail flippers are. And so to me, that's different. To me, it is different. But most of the time when we're reselling, it's kind of the long game, right? Or maybe a few weeks or whatever. Guy gets hot and boom, then you sell your stuff. And so those are the things I think the categories that we can kind of fall into. And I think we're all probably in all of those for the most part. Some people are adamantly against flipping and will never, we've all seen it on Twitter. I would never. I have done it plenty of times. It's hard to fault someone for, I was just thinking yesterday, if I go to 5 different Targets in a day and I get one blaster of UFC Prism and I sell and make a profit of even $50 on each of those, well, I just made $250. And I can't fault someone for that. I understand it, but I don't like it. And I think it negatively impacts the ecosystem of the hobby. And like I said, I'll talk about that more. In fact, my wife has some pretty amazing thoughts on that. So I think maybe I'll have her on here to talk about that too. But I'd say for the most part, a lot of us are probably collectors and resellers. We collect things that we like, that we keep for ourselves, and then we sell things that aren't in our personal collection to fund that personal collection, right? And that makes sense. I think that's what the hobby is really about. And so I think that's what gets people upset about flipping, is that that's not what it is. I mean, coming all the way back to what Sue said, the influx of people into the hobby, my personal opinion, which is the only one that I can have, is that the vast majority of the people who have come into the hobby within the last year have done so because of the money, because of the prospect of being able to make money on cards, whether that's retail, singles, whatever, grading and selling, whatever happens to be, which makes sense. But I don't think the majority of people came into it. I mean, just again, my experience of being in some of those lines of 30, 40 people deep at a Target, at a Walmart, and listening to the conversations that are being had, they're all about money. They're all about how much they were able to make. They're conversations about what's good. They don't know. Should I get this? Should I get that? And it isn't, do I like it? Do I enjoy it? It's, will I make money from it? Should I buy this? Is it going to make me money? Those are the conversations that I'm hearing. And so I don't think that's jaded. I think it's just experience. I think it's just what I'm seeing is people are seeing the money involved, the profit involved, and they want a piece of that, which again makes sense. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Maybe that was a little all over the place, but those are just some of my thoughts with that. I would love, let me know what you are wondering. Oh, that sounds super dumb. What do you want to know what I think about something? That sounds dumb. But if there is a topic, or if there's a question or something that you want me to address, I'd be happy to do that. Just let me know, and I'll see what I can do. So I really enjoy the hobby. I have very few things that I collect personally when it comes to cards, honestly. Some of the artists in the Project 2020, Project 70 stuff, Blake and Lauren and F. Dot, Greg Siff, Brittany, and JK5. Like, I love all that stuff. That's right up my alley. Art and sports, love it. Jim Abbott, huge. I have an entire box right next to me that's all Jim Abbott cards. Many of them you have sent me, which has been incredible. Badgers and Packers, Bucks, collect those as well, but not like, Jonathan Taylor, I guess, would be one that I'm really collecting right now. So anyway, I'm going to shut up. This is long enough as it is. But I hope it made sense. Let me know what you think. Reply and give me your thoughts as well. And again, if you have questions, let me know, and I'll do this again. All right. You guys are awesome. I don't know. Bye.